Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, late to the party. This is a movie I have never seen. And with Fast X out this week, my man Fuzz here says that this is the redheaded stepchild cousin of the Fast and the Furious movies. So we've got it here. Better Luck Tomorrow. It is a 2002 movie. Let's see. 7 out of 10 on IMDb, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 67% on Metacritic. Whatever that is. The accomplished high school student Ben, Parry Shen, seems to excel at almost everything except winning over his dream girl, Stephanie, Karin Anna Cheung. When he begins an unlikely friendship with a trouble-seeking tough guy, Daric, Roger Fan, Ben becomes involved in petty crime that gets increasingly dangerous with his illegal ventures, including extending to include Stephanie and her wealthy beau, Steve John Cho. Can these restless teens curb their criminal activities before it's too late? Wow, I think it was written by somebody from MIT. All right, starring Sung Kang, Jason Tobin, Parry Shen, John Cho, Roger Fan, Karin Anna Cheung. Let's get into it. All right, so this movie, Fuzz, you were telling us that it's somehow related to Fast and the Furious because it's got Han with a Mustang.
Right. So Han. So supposedly, So Justin Lin is the director of this movie. This was his first movie he ever he wrote it, he directed it, and him and the actor who plays Han kind of grew a bond together. And when they were talking him into making Tokyo Drift, he was like, it's a joke. He goes, well, what if can I put this guy in the movie? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. We don't care. And so they put him in, and he was like, well, we'll just call you Han, but let's play a joke. And instead of you smoking cigarettes, because if you notice throughout this whole movie, all he's doing is smoking cigarettes. And what is Han doing in every fucking Fast and the Furious movie? He's trying to cope with dealing with not smoking cigarettes by eating every 10 seconds. So that's like the little tie-in. And the spoiler alert, the guy that shoots himself, the crazy one that's in the group. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in the Fast and the Furious also.
Does he brain damage?
But he doesn't really talk much, but he's Han's buddy in the movie. So they never fucking, fully say or anything like that. But I always just thought that was funny. I was like, because I always like when people do things like that, like pay homage to something they did in the past and stuff. And this was like, it has.
He's like Chewbacca, but like CHOO.
Yeah, exactly. They said they go because it's two different companies that made it, so they can't technically be together. So he's like, well, it's kind of like if you look at any interview where they talk about it, he just goes, well, yeah, it's kind of like so it's kind of like a precursor to where Han came from before he went to Tokyo and stuff like that, and before he met Dominic Toretto and stuff like that. Like after all this stuff happened is when he met all of them. So that's good.
There's an untold story in there because isn't Tokyo Drift kind of out of the chronological order of the Fast movies? So I think Tokyo takes place after 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7.
You wedged that in there, so this has to take place even before. I think it's the Brazil one, isn't that 5 where Han first shows up technically, like in the chronology?
Yeah.
So, yeah, because it's that one, and then there's the one that's after that where What's-Her-Nuts dies, and then Han says at the end that he's going to go to Tokyo, and then you would go to Tokyo Drift, and then supposedly he dies there, but now he's back, and very confusing.
And the even weirder part is this is a true story. So Better Luck Tomorrow is based on a true story that happened out here in California.
Yeah.
Dude, it looked like Cerritos or La Palma. That area?
It looks like Rancho Santa Margarita to me. I mean, all the style of the houses in the background when he's shooting his baskets. I was like, I think I know that neighborhood.
Exactly. I was like, there's a couple shots where I was like, I've been to that high school. I partied
but
there.
RSM isn't as Asian centric as Cerritos is. Like Cerritos is hardcore, lots and lots of Asian. It could be. It could very
I
well
can't.
be. But these guys, I was texting my cousin during this because, I don't know. Those of you watching, despite my Latino appearance, I'm half white and half Asian. So my cousin Kirk from the Asian side, I'm like, dude, they made a movie about you and your homies running amok in the '90s, and they weren't like on the same level of troublesomeness that these guys were, but they were all Asian kids or good students who did bad stuff that nobody really looked at because they were Asian kids who were good students.
Yep.
Yeah, they were like that in my high school too. There was a couple of them that I grew up with, having been with them through school, even as far back as like elementary. But like by the time we got to high school, these guys were all dressed and snazzy and packing heat when they came to high school. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah, like I mean, what I liked. I mean, again, rewatching this, I've seen this movie a bunch of times. It's not like top 20 favorites. It's just a good movie. Like I think it's a well done movie for what it was. It's like a student film almost. Like it was his first forte into making a movie by himself. So I think it's a really well done movie in that sense. But like the idea that all it was something little, just like in our Curry movie. You know what I mean? It's just something little that happens. And it's your decision making that makes the difference. You know what I mean? Like he didn't want to.
If you get caught, you go from being straight A student Asian kid heading to MIT to
San Quentin, baby.
Yeah, man.
Like it all, like the way even he did the shot where he offers him, because it starts when he's at the hot dog on the stick and he hands him the thing and he goes, here's the cheat sheets. Do these for $50, and he crumples it up and he throws it aside. But then all this small bad shit happens to him, and it just pisses him off to no end. So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna do it," and that's where it starts. And then all of a sudden, it starts building up into dealing drugs and fucking carrying heat, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until someone gets fucking
snowballs
killed.
For sure.
Yep. And this was the first time I seen Harold. After Harold and Kumar do a part where he wasn't funny or anything like that. I was like, oh shit, he can act. I was like, cool, because he was a good dick. Like he played a dick perfectly. Like I dug it.
It was solid.
Yeah, this movie was weird for me because it had like a kind of like American Pie vibes, but then it also had like Train Spotting vibes. And I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to like enjoy it and laugh at it, or if I wanted to be like just disgusted with people.
Well, that's what I think he did great was because you're right. Like in the beginning, it's very American Pie. Like you see the ice cream truck going down the thing, and kids are chasing after it, and he's sitting there playing in this beautiful thing, and he's talking about how you just got to read the manual, and that's how you become a good employee. But again, like once he takes that little step into the darkness, that's when the camera work starts getting a little, like you said, Train Spotting, where the camera's going around him real quick. You know what I mean? They start doing the blow. They got the hookers everywhere and stuff like that. Like they're going nuts, and it's a hell of a good movie. And it always gets talked about because it's a full Asian cast. You know what I mean? Like how it's just full Asian stuff, and in my head I'm going like, that it really wasn't a big thing to me. Like I thought they handled it well, where they just told a story. Like they used what they needed for that whole thing, and the rest of it was just a story. Like they didn't go deep into like he even got mad when they were talking about how he was the token Asian guy on the team. You know what I mean? Like he was like, don't fucking use me as your little puppet, dude. Like what the fuck? I was like, that was dope, dude. I like that.
Did you, Nate? Did you feel like you were represented when you watched this movie?
Represented? Well, here's the thing about being biracial, man. You're not one or the other. You're both. So it's I kind of, but kind of not, you know, like,
But like you said, you called your cousin and you were like, "Hey, they made a movie about you." Like you kind of were just like, "Oh shit, I know someone like this." Like that's the key into making a movie. Is like you got to like. I even knew guys like Han. You know what I mean? To this extent, not Fast and Furious Han. This Han. Like I know that guy. Like I know that a couple of those cats, and they were dope as shit. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I like Han." You know what I mean? Han's a cool guy, even though I relate to the fucking main character and shit. But you know. Because I could have been an MIT student, but
really?
too many chair shots to the head, you know?
Not the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was more like the Missing Inbred Technical Institute or something.
Something like, hey, I never said what they abbreviated to, but I could have went to MIT. You see these guns, they want to hire all that, dude. Bam, look at that shit. Oh, fuck, I pulled the muscle.
No, yeah, it made sense. There was lots of it that made sense. I don't necessarily see. The part of it that I thought didn't bode well was how it ended without any kind of consequence for the actions.
Right.
You know, especially when dude shoots himself, when another Asian kid's like missing. And, you know, maybe it ended a lot sooner than the consequences play out in it, you know, but
I honestly think, because I had that problem too, especially this time, because I forgot. Like, when I watched it, I went, was this based on, like, after I watched it, I couldn't remember if it was based on a true story or not. And I looked it up, and it was. But I think when they made this movie, you know, when something's in the court system, you can't fucking refer to it because then it might change the jury's thing or whatever. You can get sued. So that's why they just left it open, like letting them, you know, let you guess what happened to them and stuff. I don't know. That's what I'm just guessing, because that's what happened with Alpha Dog. Fucking when they made Alpha Dog with Justin Timberlake and all that, they were like in the middle of that case, and so they had to postpone the movie release for like a year and a half, and then once the case was concluded, then they released the movie.
I'm
never seen Alpha Dog.
I'm surprised that you enjoyed the ending, Fuzzy, considering you hate Lord of the Rings style endings, you know?
Oh, no, wait, ladies and gentlemen, please tune into the next show. You're going to hear my fucking opinion on the damn thing, but this was not this. So, this show's
gonna publish after the next show.
Okay, well, go back and watch Late to the Party, dude, because they're talking shit. Go watch Talking Shit, because I'm about to go off about this, but I'm going to use this and... Because someone was arguing with me about this last Fast movie, right? And I go, look, Empire Strikes Back is like, we know there's going to be a sequel. We knew, you know, we didn't know it was called Return or Revenge of the Jedi, but we knew there was going to be another Star Wars after that, right? But you could watch Empire Strikes Back by itself, and it ends. Even though it's a fucking cliffhanger, we don't know where he's going. You know, he's looking off in the moon. He got the new hand. It still kind of fucking was a story. You know what I mean? It was like a story in itself. Lord of the Rings is like, yeah, we're going to get there. We get over this hill. Oh, shit. We got farther to go. Black screen. Like, they literally just told me, like, you know, it just, I'm like, what the fuck? What?
Well, like, what? You're 3.5 hours and then that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm like. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I look to the heavens. I go, you're testing me, aren't you? That's what this is. This is just
this is because you cheated on your spelling test in second grade.
It's when I cheated on the girl in high school. I don't know, but fuck, dude, like that. M. Night Shyamalan is that. That's what he is too. He's one of those guys that God put on this earth to just punish me for the dumb shit I've done in my life, dude. So whatever. I take it with, you know, I smile and I keep moving. That's it. That's, you know. But yeah, this was. I remember going to see this movie because it was big news at Sundance. And when I watched it, I went and saw it and I walked out of the theater and I was like, I can make one of those movies, dude. Like, I can make Better Luck Tomorrow. Like, if I got all my friends, because if you watch that movie, it's not a big budget. You know what I mean? He made that literally on like by himself with all his friends. So
yeah, you can, especially with I mean, it's been 21 years since that movie came out. With what we have with just, you know, the stuff that I use to edit my movies for YouTube and whatnot, and some cell phones. Yeah, you can make if you got a good story and you got people who don't jack up the acting portion of it. You can put some stuff out nowadays for sure.
Or have just the best story and have shitty actors, because that happens too, man. That's how you get cult classics, dude. So that's always been my mentality, dude. It's always like, just get a good story. You give me a good story, man. Fucking, we'll go shoot that son bitch, dude. Like I'll act in it. I know I'm a bad actor, but I'll fucking do it, and I'll be the one that they send to Comic-Con as like next to the suit Nazi. I'll be standing next to him as the guy that says, "Hey, yo," or some shit like that in the fucking movie.
We got your IMDb, right?
Yeah, but I don't like showing it. How long did it take me to show you guys, dude? I don't like showing that, because that's a sad little... Like, any movie I'm in there, they're like, what is that? I'm like, trust me, you don't want to watch it, dude. It ain't fucking...
Right? But you know what? I don't know, man. I would be on the Ewok movie to get into Comic-Con.
You know that it took the people from the Ewok movie like 25 years to get to Comic-Con, right?
Well, they could have. I mean, that's to like get welcome inside, with an open door.
The Comic-Con people look at the IMDb. Ewoks not in my fucking con.
Oh, all right, that's a good one. All right, so let's do this. Late to the party. How many buckets of spilled popcorn is this movie? I'll go first. I think it's got cultural relevance because it did inadvertently launch the Furious franchise, like you said. I think it was well written. The acting was good. I was a little bummed on the way it ended, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I was entertained throughout the movie. I cared about the characters. Nothing came off as too unbelievable or anything. So I'll give this one like a 7.5. Solid one. And I'm sure Fuzzy's going to want to come in on his rope and with his cape and his Zorro mask and save it at the end. So let you go ahead, go next, Jade.
All right. Well, I also enjoyed the film. I think that the acting was generally fairly decent. I don't know. Sometimes, and this might just be, my predilections with Asian folks, but like the guys always seem dull as hell and the chicks are hot. So since the dudes are all dull, I'm like, the acting's not super top notch, but the story, cultural relevance, because I don't know how many people think to the Fast and Furious franchise, and I'm not even sure how official that is. But
it's not. It's just hinted to.
Well, but the thing is it's the same director, same actor, basically the same character. I mean, I even though it's probably not like quote unquote canon, I kind of feel like it is anyway. You know what I mean? It seems like it's a pretty clear line of connection there, but I just can't get away from the feeling that the characters, the protagonists of the movie they're all bad guys. And I'm not a big fan of rooting for the bad guys, having them be the protagonists. That Mel Gibson or whatever that came out a number of years ago. And I get that same feeling. So I'm like, I think the movie is definitely worth watching, but I'm not going to go higher than 6 on this guy.
Fair enough. All right, put on your cape, Fuzzy.
I even wore the Superman jersey, ready for it, dude. All right, so check it out. You're gonna laugh. I give it a 5 on a thing. Like, okay, as my movie critic, 5, and because it is a student film, like as far as I'm, bless me. If I'm honest, like it's a high class student film, but an amazing student film. You know what I mean? Like it's got, like you said, like the ending. A lot of people, I think that's one of the things that a lot of people complain about is that ending, because it's kind of like he's just riding off into the sunset, but you are rooting for a bad guy. But it's like the birth of a bad guy, like how somebody good can turn bad very simply. It's it's boredom. The devil's idle hands are the devil's playground. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the story we're being told here. So, but it's just, the acting, nothing superb in it or anything. It's just a fun little, like what the hell, would this really happen kind of thing. But because it's connected to the Fast and the Furious franchise, I'm bumping it up to an 8.
Okay.
An honest review.
Wow.
Hey, look,
this is the worst movies Fuzzy's ever seen.
No, it's because I'm watching it again. Like again, I probably haven't watched it in probably 6-7 years, and I brought my kid down with me because I always now been watching them with the kid. Like I'm like, all right, we're gonna watch this movie. He's like, all right, and at the whole movie, he kept going like, what the heck is going on? Like he was lost. Like he couldn't figure out what was going. Finally, like when it ended up, because it starts with hearing the phone ring. So the whole movie, he thought that was going to be one of them being killed and then they find their friend buried, but he didn't realize that they killed. He goes, "What happened?" And he just got like that, and I was like, "Oh man, dude, this movie just fucked my kid up, dude. Like he's gonna get scared because he goes to Diamond Bar, and that's it's all Asian community in there pretty much. He's the minority." I was like, he's gonna be Irish, but I was like He didn't understand it. He didn't get into it. When I asked him, I go, "What'd you think?" He goes, "Eh." I go, "Yeah, like that." And he goes, "Eh." I'm like, "All right." And he's like how you say your wife's your barometer like that. Like him and my wife are that way to me. My other son Chase, he'll say he likes anything. You give him a Slurpee and a popcorn, he's
chip off the block.
Yeah, me and him will just sit through anything. We don't care. We're just like, let's do this, dude. Like, let's go on this ride. But them two are like,
make him watch the Caravan of Courage. You'll change his life.
No, I'm saving that for really bad ones that I like. Like again, like this one honestly is not the most perfect movie, but it's a movie that I think everyone needs to see. Like I'm always like, dude, you got to see this movie. It's a classic B movie,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a B movie. I wouldn't put it as far as a B movie. Maybe it was technically. If suits there's a level of shittiness I expect in a B movie. I wouldn't. This didn't have it,
Yeah.
Well, you call it a B movie because it literally had the only big name actor in there was Harold, right? And he's literally he's this much in it, but he was the one they were selling the movie with. Was his, he's in this movie. Come see this movie, and they made it, with a super low budget. You know what I mean? And again, for what they had, it looks awesome. It's a great put together movie. But you could tell it is like a student film. Like it's a little weird. It's got creative camera angles and stuff like that. And like you said, the ending. A lot of people were making the joke that they ran out of money
when they were killing John Cho. They had him, and the camera was doing that circle thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and even the faraway shot and the way they didn't show him bashing him with the bat. Like they just showed the splat. You know what I mean? And then you just hear it, and then it's all in the dark, but you see the light flashing like that. Again, that's low budget trickery, which is awesome. And it looks great, you know what I mean? But when I watch it, I'm like, oh, I've done that many times where you don't have the lighting equipment, so you're just like, all right, we gotta make this look cool and shit like that. So,
now that you mentioned that scene again, it occurred to me that the only one that didn't have a direct hand in that dude's death was Han. Everybody else was directly involved in killing that guy.
Yeah.
So he's actually the best of them.
And that's how he made it to meet Dom Toretto. You see, we just fucking put the puzzles together. Oh, don't get me started. Just as much as I love the Fast and the Furious, dude, oh my God.
All right, we'll see in a minute. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Late to the party. Do us a favor, give us a like, share it with your friends. We're here. If you got a movie you want us to watch, send it to us. We love them. Got to be 10 years old, but we don't even care if it's dubbed. We don't give it to us. We'll do it. We're doing foreign movies. We got all kinds of. We're open eyes, ears. We're ready for it. Fuzzy, you want to take us out?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to have some love, some peace, and that Popeyes grease. We out.